Maitreya Wolf here, and this is the Art of Soulful Living vlog. Thank you for joining me today. I pray that you are well nourished by our time here together. I want to explore what I have called in the past the concept of ballast. Ballast is a weight that you put in the bottom of a seafaring vessel to give it what I call roots in a moving field. And we are definitely in a moving field these days, and people are pretty unrooted, and I think that's probably going to continue in our experience for a while as we make this shift that we're in the midst of. Because I do believe that we have entered into an initiation and that we are changing fundamentally as a species. I believe we are transforming from one mode of being to another. And as someone who has been in an initiatory process catalyzed by life itself and the great powers of life itself, I can say that initiation is not easy. Transformation is not easy. Not at these levels. Not at these entrenched ideological, hierarchical, power-based levels where we are all dealing with our piece of a very life-denying puzzle that we have lived our way into. It's a mess. Earth is a hot mess. I think about it sometimes. Like, people say there's a galactic federation like overseeing our development and waiting for us to get our shit together before they like open up and induct us into the group and all this stuff. And I always imagine them just up there kind of like, well, no, maybe it takes time. It took us a minute too. I mean, they're beautiful in so many ways. They'll get there. Just, yeah, they're definitely taking the hardest path possible, but they'll get there. Seriously, I could totally see them just like, well, they don't really know that we're here anyway, so if we disappear, they won't know the difference. But I have faith in us, and I think they have faith in us too. I think Spirit has faith in us in general, and that's why the opportunities to transform keep coming, and we don't actually we haven't yet gotten to the end of the end game where it's done. It's really done. All chances have been exhausted, and that's it. Game over. Game over, you died. Better luck next time. So we're sitting in the midst of this incredible initiatory opportunity, and it is probably going to take a while to actualize itself, and I truly believe that it will. I truly believe, I feel it in my bones. I have a knowing, a deep knowing that we'll make it. That it wavers. Sometimes I won't lie. I definitely, yesterday, was having a major meltdown about I was crying about my own misery and the misery of the world, and just the pain of it all. I had a good long cry about that yesterday, and that was really good for me. It really needed some expression. That part, the part that fears that we won't make it, needed some expression. And yeah, this brings me along to essentially the foundation of what I'm expressing today is that we're in a trek. We're on an odyssey here. An initiation is not like, you don't go for like a weekend and pay some half-baked shaman to like wave whatever plant over you and call it good. Like, Initiation is about cultivating the soul. And the soul doesn't operate in linear time. The soul is transcendent isn't really the word, because people conceptualize transcendent as like above and outside of. But this, I would say, essential, maybe. Essential. The soul is essential. Our souls are our piece of the essence of being from which we are all derived. In the Gnostic tradition, they say there was the pleroma, that was the totality, and everything was unified in the pleroma, and it was bliss. And then one element inside of the pleroma started to essentially get curious and broke free of the pleroma. And that was the initiation of delineated experience, of individuated and relational experience. And it was Sophia who got curious, the goddess of wisdom, the feminine. She got curious. She wanted to experience things. And so now here we all are, and the soul that we are is the part of the pleroma that we are, that is journeying through the phenomenological process of embodiment and incarnation for the sake of enrichment and refinement. And now, here we are, a person watching a YouTube video on the earth, and July 2020, and shit's pretty fucking crazy right now. And how do we do this? How do we do this well? How do we engage with this opportunity well? How do we engage with this opportunity as an initiation? And what is our ballast? What gives us roots in a moving field? What gives us ground when the world is dissolving around us and we are flung back and forth in the moods of the day, the moods of the moment? And the moods of the moment are extreme. Shit is just like, and there are these beautiful smooth moments, and then it's you got to be agile to do this and not be like totally thrown off by the nature of this territory that we are traveling now. So yeah, let's talk about ballast. And I'm just going to offer you some things. And the first thing I'm going to offer you is cultivate a relationship with the earth. Because that is the ground that does not dissolve. Cultivate your relationship with the living earth. Cultivate your relationship with the world beyond the strictly human experience. And not in a dissociative, off-planet, out-of-body way, but in a very fleshy, touching the green living things way, listening to the birds way, watching the light come into the day way. Cultivate it in a tangible, physical way. Cultivate your relationship with the earth. There are so many ways to do this. The easiest one, and I invite you to take this on as a practice, at least experiment with it for a week and see. So do this. Experiment with this for a week. Take a journal and record at the beginning of the week, say on Sunday, take a little note and say like, today I feel this way, blah, blah, blah. And then on Monday, start to do this thing. And then on the next Sunday, take a journal entry again and just notice how different you feel from when you started, and maybe continue with the practice after that. So the practice is this: every morning when you wake up, before you turn on your phone, before you turn on your computer, before you turn anything on, go outside. Before you eat, before you have coffee, go to the bathroom first. But after you go to the bathroom, go outside. Even if you're in the middle of a city, go outside. Breathe the air. Feel the light on your skin. Hear the sound of the world waking up around you. And connect. I live in the woods, so I go out in the morning barefoot. I meditate, I pray, I bring my body awake. I do Qigong. And I do something called invoking the circle of my day, which is something that I will tell you about later, but not right now. But that's an awesome practice. But just start with this. Start with focusing on your relationship with the earth and deepening it. If it's deep already, deepen it further. If it's just a little baby of a relationship and you haven't really even started yet, start now. Because that is a ground that doesn't go away. And of course, if you know anything about history, you know that, people can be dislocated from their land, and that it's one of the most traumatic things imaginable for land-based people, which everyone was before colonialism, even white people. White people were indigenous back in the day. We were indigenous to Europe before the Inquisition. So make that connection again. Go home to the earth. Because that is a context that you can rest in. No matter how crazy things get, the earth is always there. In all of her beauty and magnificence, the earth is always there. And she is always receptive to us. The dawn always comes every morning, rapture. The dawn always comes. The birds always sing. Every morning, rapture is available to us, and that gives us ballast. It gives us roots in a moving field. And it also avails us of a broader scope of life force than we have access to as individuals. And we need that. We need that sustenance right now to help us get through the journey we have embarked upon as a collective. So that's thing one. Cultivate your relationship with the earth, and try that practice. Every morning when you wake up, go outside and just take 5 long, slow, deep breaths and connect with the earth. The second I recommend is meditation. Meditation, I do sitting meditation. I also do moving meditation. I'm a dancer and just a movement enthusiast. I just love to move, to work out, to dance, to ride a bike, to go for walks, all the things. And cultivate meditation. Because we are sitting in, you've heard this term, attention economy, right? I'm participating in the attention economy right now. I'm asking for your attention. Listen to me. We live in an attention economy. Some things are grasping at our attention all the time. And we need our attention intact to be able to show up for the rigors of the moment. We need our attention intact to be able to imagine our way into the more beautiful world that is waiting for us. The more beautiful world we know is possible and ready to be born. We need our imagination intact for that. And for our imagination to be intact, our attention needs to be intact. So meditate. Sitting meditation is amazing. And you can start, if you already meditate, just deepen that practice. If you're new to meditation, then take this basic practice. Get a pillow, a firm one. You can get a meditation cushion if you want, but get a nice firm pillow so that you can sit on it and lift your hips up a little bit so that your legs can actually relax in a cross-legged position. If sitting in a cross-legged position doesn't work for you, then sit on the edge of a chair with your feet flat on the floor. Lift your spine upright. Drop your breathing down into your belly. And just sit there and breathe. Your mind is not going to stop. People think meditation means your mind stops going, you stop thinking about things. Maybe it does at some level, but I have never experienced that to be true. What I experienced to be true is that my attention, my awareness, drops down into the whole field of my body, and I'm not engaged with the circus of my random thoughts. So you just sit down on your pillow or on your chair, close your eyes, turn your mind in towards your breath, turn your attention in towards your breath. And just keep your attention there on your breath. If you start with 5 minutes, that's epic. When I first started meditating, I couldn't sit still at all. I couldn't sit still for shit. It was years. Literally years before I could actually sit still and turn my attention all the way inside. And I'm still cultivating the capacity. But it's one of the most important things we can do because it brings us into our own energy field. We gather ourselves into our own energy field. And we align with a deeper aspect of our own being. That in turn gives us an opportunity to relate with the world from that deeper place in ourselves, which is at this point extremely important because there are so many volatile conversations going on, and so many of them are being had so poorly. They are being had so roughly. People are not listening to each other, and they are not respecting each other. People are waving opinions around like clubs and pointing them like guns. Sometimes pointing them with guns. And we need to be able to listen to ourselves and hear ourselves, hear how we feel. And we need to be able to listen to each other. Because when we can listen to each other, then our relationships and our conversations become charged with magical potential for magical transformation. And that's what's being offered to us now. So these two things, I'll just offer you these two things right now as ways to cultivate ballast, as ways to cultivate roots in a moving field, as ways to give yourself resource for the task of being alive right now. Because it's a task. We've been entrusted with a major task of bringing this world around to some greater possibility. for all of us, for humanity and for everything else. We have been tasked with this work, and we can do it as long as we stay resourced and as long as we stay grounded. So cultivate your relationship with the earth and cultivate the capacity to meditate. Give yourself a taproot. Give yourself ballast right now. Make that a priority. Do not exhaust yourself, because we are in for the long haul here. We are in a deep work of transformation. And it's going to take some time to come to fruition. And you know, one of my mentors is Starhawk. She's an amazing woman, Starhawk. She writes books, she leads courses, she does webinars, she gives talks, she participates in actions. You know, she's a hardcore activist. And she's like 70 years old and, you know, in not great health. But she has been doing this already for 40 years. Activism, teaching, talking, writing. She's written something like 15 books or more. You know, she's a powerhouse. And she does it through relationship with the earth and relationship with the sacred, which are the same thing to her, and they're the same thing to me as well. The earth is the body of the divine. And that, cultivating that relationship with the divine and the earth is what, you know, like I said earlier, it gives us access to more life force than we have, you know, than our personal allotment. And it fortifies us for the time. And it also nourishes and sustains us at such an innocent and primal level. Such an essential and fundamental level. You know, to come into relationship, and for me, this is not something I was talking about earlier, but, you know, for me, the earth is holy. The earth is the body of the divine. All manifest life, this is divinity. Divinity is not some abstracted, externalized thing that I have to supplicate for attention. I am divine. Earth is divine. Living, manifest experience, this is divinity. And when I stay woven in to this, I stay resourced. But when I start to compartmentalize myself into my mind, into my strictly human experience, I start to wither fast. So cultivate your relationship with the earth, because that is the divine. And cultivate the capacity to meditate, cultivate the capacity to be quiet and in yourself and listening. These are just the most simple and basic ways to have ballast, to have roots in a moving field, and to have longevity for the work of the times. So, there you go, my friends. I love you. Take that into the course of your week and enjoy it. And subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button. Be in touch with me if you want to talk about counseling. I do a thing called the Art of Soulful Living as a mentoring work, counseling and trauma healing work, and a deepening into soul work. And yeah, stay in touch and take care of yourself. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. Slow down, deepen, listen more, and love your way through it. We'll get there.